Christian, I want to ask you about this news, this breaking news about Elon Musk setting up his own America Party or whatever it is. It's strange, you know, someone should make a film about the Elon Musk-Donald Trump story, but is this a publicity stunt? Is this serious? Obviously, it's no threat, but what does it actually mean in your opinion, Christian?
I think it doesn't mean very much. Musk gets, I don't know what he does beforehand, if there's a substance involved or not, but he gets on Twitter. This isn't just a one-night thing at 2 in the morning. He's been on this for a while, but it's clearly hurt feelings he has with Donald Trump. An independent party, it's probably meaningless. We have a Libertarian Party already in the United States. It's different than the Libertarian movement. The Libertarian Party usually gets a couple of points and takes them away from mostly Republicans. Then usually there's a Green Party or some other wacko party that takes a couple points from Democrats. The risk is if this rises to something like Ross Perot, who's a businessman who challenged George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton in 1992 and took 19% of the vote. There's a dispute among historians whether he took votes equally from both candidates or if, like me, you believe he took most of them from George H.W. Bush and let the Democrats win. But you remember Musk, we're 3 years from the election, and also he comes from Silicon Valley, and most Americans hate Silicon Valley. The idea that a billionaire who's born in South Africa is going to waltz in and tell us how to run the country. This has none of the populism of Ross Perot. The economy is in great shape, unlike 1992, where the 1990 recession was over, but times really weren't that good. Also, that 1992 election came on the heels of 12 years of Republican rule, and people were just ready for a change. They were ready to elect a baby boomer. Bad idea. Anyway, none of those factors are in play here, so I don't think it'll lead to much.
Now, you mentioned Elon Musk feeling frustrated or disappointed. Is that warranted, do you think, with Donald Trump?
Not really. I think if you had two alpha males in the room, and Musk didn't really seem to know when to leave. The idea you're going to find $2 trillion just of inefficiencies that can be made efficient. Government is inherently inefficient. The American system is designed intentionally to be inefficient, which is what separation of powers really is. And having a Senate, which is, just intended as a place where legislation goes to die. And we've had before this idea, I mentioned Ross Perot, the idea that you can come in and make government run like business, it's not going to happen. Maybe you could squeeze some efficiencies out. And so I think he overstayed his welcome, overplayed his hand, if you will. And really, if you look at his companies, Tesla and SpaceX and X, which used to be Twitter, all of those could really use his attention right now. They could probably benefit from a CEO, especially if you look at Tesla stock, what it's done this year. He should probably be focused on that and just, leave politics to the politicians and to the citizens.
He should, and he is not Ross Perot. He can never run. He's foreign born. He can never be president. So
yeah, that's true.
And there was polling that CNN actually talked about this week. They weren't happy to do it, but Donald Trump is the most popular president with Republicans in history, more popular than Ronald Reagan after he survived the assassination attempt. So to suggest that there's an appetite for another party right now, I think is a bit odd. I want to ask you about Donald Trump's big win against Paramount. He keeps winning against media companies. Paramount are responsible for 60 Minutes, for CBS. And we know, we played it on this program, that interview they did with Kamala Harris during the election campaign, where it amounted to election interference. They changed her answers. They cut it up in a way to make her seem coherent and strong when her answers were utterly incoherent and just nonsensical.
Right. And it's really actually, so in America, especially post sort of 1960s, for a politician, for a public figure to prove liable is very difficult. It's called a standard of actual malice. And essentially, you can say anything you want about someone who's a public figure. And unless you are really, really far out of a ledge, you're not going to be in trouble. But CBS News and before it, ABC News managed to do that. Who knows if they could have prevailed if they actually went to a trial? Because, again, it's a very high standard. But I think what happened here is that parent company, and they're attempting a sale of the company, Sherry Redstone, who sits at the top of all of this. And they really didn't want what's called discovery going on, where Trump and his lawyers could start demanding all these internal communications within CBS, because it would reveal that CBS isn't the real media organization, that it's just another, part of the left-wing blob in American media. And that's what they really wanted to stop. So against the wishes of CBS News, and certainly against the wishes of the Pinkos at 60 Minutes, the parent company just said, solve this, get this off of our table. We don't want this. The big boys and girls are doing the real corporate finance at the top, just didn't want this distraction.